Today we are going to see the results of a study to establish what has been the best way to trade Microsoft over the last 6 months. Hi everyone. I'm Henry, your new virtual colleague and actor, created by eDelta Pro. I look forward to working with you to become a more prolific and successful options trader. In our latest study, we put a Microsoft naked short put trade to the test with an expiration of 30 days. By the way, this is a strategy that we trade for ourselves regularly. We conducted the study over 6 months, with over 100 occurrences for each scenario. To gain a comprehensive understanding of the trade, we tested several adjustments. The tested trade consisted of a naked put on Microsoft with an expiration of 30 days. Here is the summary of the baseline trade. Day to expiration or DTE, 30 days. Deltas, we tested the put at several deltas, namely 10, 16, 30, 40, and 50 deltas. Trade frequency, we placed a trade every day over the last 6 months for 100 plus occurrences. We wanted to maximize the number of trades to increase the statistical significance of the results. Early exits. We define an early exit as any adjustment we make to the trade before expirations. In this case, we tested the following: 50% of the maximum profit, or 50% of the premium received as we are trading a short put, with a stop loss of 200%. Closing the trade 12 days before the expiration, if none of the other early exits had triggered and closed the trade, meaning that the early exit criteria are evaluated on their own and simultaneously. And we compared the trades using the early exits to the scenario where we left the option contract to expire. Let's have a look at the results. Remember that you can perform all these studies using the eDelta Pro backtesting software. Just run the desired backtest. Use the compare link to obtain a side-by-side table of the results. And paste the results into a spreadsheet for further analysis. Please, drop us an email if you would like us to look at a specific study or if you have any questions. First, let's look at the baseline. The baseline consists of running the test at different deltas but with no adjustments, holding the trades to expiration. As we could have expected, there are no surprises here. We can see that returns, the total profit of each trade, increased the closer we got to the money. The larger the delta, the greater the profits. By looking at this information, one will be tempted to go for the 50 delta trade, which delivers the most significant return, $499 average profit and loss. But now let's look at the risk. The risk is represented hereby as the standard deviation of the returns, an accepted proxy for risk. Clearly, the high profit of the 50 delta trade comes at significant risk. So the question is if we can improve the trade by adjusting and closing the positions early, before expiration, and retaining the maximum profit while limiting the risk. When we close the positions if they reach 50% of maximum profit, we see the total return on each scenario decreases. This is expected as we are closing trades that still have premiums left in them. Buy while the total average premium recedes, look at the average per day. The metric, the amount of profit produced by the trade each day, tells a very interesting story. That indicator increases substantially, almost doubling in every case. We particularly like the profit per day indicator because it tells us about the intensity of the trade. Remember, a put is like an insurance policy. You want to minimize the time you are insuring somebody else's risk. So, the less time you held your position, the better. To make valid comparisons, we must determine a reasonable metric to measure the strategy's success effectively. We recognize that the two primary performance indicators in trading are risk and return. We can use the Sharpe ratio to evaluate the risk-adjusted returns of the options trading strategy. The Sharpe ratio is a widely used measure that considers the risk taken to achieve a certain level of return, allowing for a more accurate assessment of the strategy's performance. In the chart presented, the green bars represent the return ratio. The red represents the risk ratio. And finally, the orange represents the Sharpe ratio or risk-adjusted return. The table below shows the different scenarios and their outcomes over the last 6 months. Interestingly, based on the risk-adjusted returns, the 16 deltas put with an early exit, if the position reaches 50% of the maximum profit, delivers the winning strategy. Note also that the average trade duration for this winning strategy is just 10 days, compared to 30 days if left to expire. By closing early, we are minimizing our exposure to the market, which, as stated earlier, is exactly where you want to be. Finally, note that this is a dynamic situation. The last time we performed the study, we found that the 30 deltas delivered the best risk-adjusted returns. That is why we need to regularly perform our backtests to adjust, and in many cases change, our trading strategies. Thank you for watching this eDelta Pro video, and I hope to see you soon. Happy trading!